But some of us are just simply stronger and some of us are weaker. And I think I might be the weaker one.
Out with the old and in with the new. 2022 is our rebranding and rebuilding year. We got new gusto, new motivation, and new love to help get our dreams started. I mean, we don't really ever get to see them. They're like this useful cryptid in the apartment where if you squint really fast, they're going, they're gone. Shoot. Anyways, having someone in your corner to help you live a healthier lifestyle makes the more difficult times more manageable and the victories far more frequent. We have a magical new drug available to add to the W's, and we get to see Amberlynn at her lowest weight since 2016. Memories. Rules on tracking this weight data are the same as usual. I do not count anything unless Amberlynn herself has shared or shown it in a video. No decimal points in the chart calculations. 496.9 and 496.3 will be shown as 496. She might care a lot about ounces, but I feel like once you're north of 500, it feels a little void. No guesstimating fluctuations between gaps in tracking. Direct route from one weight to the other every time. I could guesstimate, but I'm just not going to do that. Again, it doesn't hurt anyone but her if she lies or fibs. This year is one of discipline, progression, goals being talked about and manifesting. She's like Rocky, willing to challenge themselves and go the distance. It's a refreshing change of pace from bed rotting and trying to explain away being 550 pounds. We love a training montage. We love an underdog winning. We love a last minute in Game 7 of overtime bucket. Here is where we are at. So let's get ready to watch her bring us all to victory. And you know what? She's gonna do great. 3 times the charm for finding significant others online and moving them in as soon as possible.
Yeah, you usually end up as a true crime victim doing that, not a caretaker or personal trainer. She really lucked out, never being Buffalo Billed, given all of her significant others were found on the internet. Also, don't get your hopes up.
Oh, why not?
Because... Come on, we know she's gonna fumble this. Look at the charts!
Look, it could happen. She could do it. Get your negative attitude out of here. We got things to do. Let's go.
Don't put up the money. Okay.
So it's like, I want to reference 2022 as that's the year I got my shit together. I'm ready to thrive. I have some goals that I really feel like I can obtain. So I'm on a weight loss journey. I'm down 80 pounds now. Today is day 1. I'm back on Weight Watchers. My girlfriend's very supportive. She urges me more than literally anybody I've ever had in my whole entire life. She also doesn't have handcuffs to handcuff me to the couch so I won't put food in my mouth. She's not tying me up to chairs so I don't open the Uber app. So supportive, but there's only so much she can do. It's ultimately my choice. So instead of making a smart decision, I made a stupid decision and I ordered McDonald's. I regret it. I literally hate myself. But accountability, am I right? So today is the first appointment for my outpatient. I am getting help for I'm doing an actual disorder program at a clinic. My psychologist supports me filming mukbangs that are obviously me not. I don't think you guys realize how much this is actually helping me. I try to explain it to you guys that mukbangs truly slow me down. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but makes me more aware of my food and I eat less. I hate trying to open up to you guys about me being an outpatient and you guys are like saying the opposite of what my psychologist is telling me to do, the opposite of what my dietitian is telling me to do. And it's hard because that's what like makes me not want to open up. Like something I really need to work on is like they don't want me to count calories, but it's like, so as you can see, I am maintaining. So this means I'm still drastically overeating, which is where weight loss comes in, which is where portion control comes in, which is where all that comes in. But it's like mixing that with recovery for eating disorder is rough. And I'm currently in a sticky situation where I'm like, if they don't take weight loss seriously for me, what do? I need to weekly be seeing pounds drop off of me. I'm actually incorporating some exercises into my life. It's like I'll lose 20 pounds, gain 30. I'll lose 10 pounds, gain 5. Like it's just like back and forth and I hate it so much. So on Ozempic, I've lost 25.4 pounds. Today is day 1. I'm back on Weight Watchers. So I am doing keto, yes. And I ended up falling at the ankle that made that noise and my foot was just like dangling. Clearly Ozempic and keto did not work. I was on Weight Watchers, which I'm no longer doing. So during the time that I was bedridden due to my ankle, I spent a lot of time just like mentally unwell because of the whole situation that I turned to food daily for a few weeks. I know I tried to do 100 days of weighing in before and I wasn't successful, but you know, you never know. I could be successful this time. I do intend to get weight loss surgery if it is right for me and right for my story and right for my journey, because I knew that a lot of people would roll their eyes. A lot of people would say, I knew this was going to happen. Well, unfortunately, this is not my fault. I tried. I tried.
First quarter, we have the standard drop in weight, starting the year off at 504 pounds, which is the lowest starting point we've had in 5 years. Round of applause. She started her 100 days of weighing in and lost a little under 10 pounds in January, and we actually got to the 480s by February. Unfortunately, she was 51 days short of her 100 days of weighing in, which is frustrating. She managed it no problem, and rather than missing 1 or 2 days and just starting off from there and having it be unofficially maybe 102 days of weighing in, she just gave up entirely. The all or nothing approach really never works out for her, especially since she got up to 506 pounds by the end of February, right back to her starting weight. If you're blown away by her checking her weight over 50 times in those 2 months, where the average is usually 5, I was too. But don't worry, in March, she's back to checking in hardly at all. But that's totally fine. We got 3 more quarters in the game. Ain't over till it's over.
I wanna heal, I wanna feel what I thought was never real.
Second quarter in April, we have her right back to her starting weight, but we got double the weigh-ins for May. I mean, it's 1 and then another 1, making it 2 weigh-ins, but you know what? That spring slump is over and we get 20 weigh-ins for June under 500 pounds. She has gone the first half of the year oscillating between 10 to 20 pounds with nothing sticking, but we got that summer remotivation right ahead. She could be our second half performer this year. Let's go!
I wanna heal, I wanna feel what I thought was never real.
Q3 starts off and she loses 10 pounds in the first week of July. Yay. And then we keep up into the 470s. She hasn't had any luck being in the 480s for more than 2 weeks, and we get down to 466 pounds in early September. Holy we haven't seen that number since like 2018. Hell yeah! Ozempic coming in and getting things done with tremendous results.
I wanna heal, I wanna feel what I thought was never real.
For a while. She really needs that GLP-1 since at the end of September, she got back to the 490s after stopping it. Well, you know what? We got that Q4 last-ditch effort. Another 100 days of movement or whatever. But like the last time, she sets an outlandish goal and falls short of it in under a month. And then a rapid ascent in weight, gaining 40 pounds from October to December. 20 of those pounds being in December alone. Oh no. My faith in the indomitable human spirit to overcome all odds really was wasted yet again.
Yeah, you waste it every year. Come on, pull up that big bitch.
Liver poop. It's a liver poop. What are you gonna do about it, bitches?
No. The other one. Yeah, there it is. Okay, let's see what rules held up and which ones got sprained like that ankle. Number 1. Lowest weight usually occurs in January, but not so this year. So that, that's different. Number 2. Highest weight occurrence in Q3, Q4. Yep, old reliable right there, hitting her lowest and highest in this time period. Number 3. No tracking equals gaining. This year, definitely looked like she'd been checking more since we got over 100 weigh-ins for 2022. Of the gaps, she gained some weight of about 75% of the time. Number 4, her longest gap in weigh-ins was 38 days, where she lost 10 pounds from August to September. But that victory was tossed out the window when she regained 19 to 25 pounds in 10 days. Oh God, she did it twice. One being the rebound from Ozempic in September, and the other in the beginning of December, where she usually gives up. Oh God, that's 55 pounds gained from September to December. Ugh. Number 5. Unlike other years, she did record quite a lot in Q4. Only because of the 33 recordings, though, and 28 of them were in November. December was pretty barren like usual. So, not all predictions sucked, but we can see her most dramatic regain periods all have a clear culprit. Her summer Ozempic journey meant nothing, since she lost almost 30 pounds from July to early September, only to regain it when she stopped taking Ozempic, then gained another 20 pounds on top of it in December, bringing her highest weight to 521. Okay, back to you to explain why yourself and Feline were played a total fool.
Right. So, new girlfriend, new plans, new motivation. She just had to prove in 2021 that she could lose weight when she wanted to on her own, going from the 540s to the 480s when they started talking to Wifey and inevitably trapping them.
Wifey, because that's just like what you guys knew her by and what you guys were calling her. So I was like, fine. But then I realized like I hate it. So I was like, okay, well, I call her Feline. So why don't I just start doing that on YouTube too?
Okay. Well, that's how she trapped Feline. It was enough to fool a stranger online that she could do things for herself, at least for a little bit. She wasn't in the 430s anymore! Yay! What a low bar to shuffle over. She was hovering in the 480s and the low 500s. Still, bad, but less bad than average. And for the first time this year, she assembled an actual team with a roster that could get things done. This wasn't just a rebuilding year, this is a championship lineup. This was a lineup like the gosh darn 1992 Olympic Dream Team. We got an outpatient program that probably helped get the rest of the team on board, a lymphedema specialist, a dietitian, a psychologist specialized in BED, Ozempic, a GLP-1 medication designed to assist in weight loss, and the ultimate support star, Jade/Feline/Wifey, aka Jaffafi, aka our Scottie Pippen. With this quality medical team, Wifey/Feline/Ozempic, and the psychologist, we're ready to go. Let's get going. Come on. Woo! You gotta go forward. You gotta go. Oh no. Well, let's look over what went wrong, shall we? We've seen it before on how Amberlynn will find any nitpicky reason to call something quits. which is a problem because long-term care means you need to actively be caring about something long-term in order for results to even occur. By the way, I'm going to be saying diet a lot, and I'm using it as the dictionary definition of the food habitually eaten by a person or animal. Like a humpback whale's diet consumes of a bunch of krill. A silverback gorilla's diet is fruits and vegetables with the occasional bug. And Destiny Cook's diet is a child left unattended at a birthday party with their parents' credit card. The point of the outpatient group was to assist in medically diagnosing, treating, and assisting issues a person may have as a team entirely focused on Amberlynn's wellness. No random doctors, just the team. Being an outpatient gives your medical team review of lab works, blood works, diagnoses, all for you to be more capable and healthier long term. They want to work together. It's not an overnight fix, but the foundational dirt has been broken at least. The most important specialist, in my opinion, is the psychologist for BED. We know Amberlynn sucks at following through with most things long term. She says she's going to therapy, it doesn't last, she doesn't want to go, we get on her ass about it, etc., etc. Because we all know, as far more emotionally adept individuals, that emotional and behavior regulation are absolute musts if you are ever going to try and live a functional life with an ED. She says her problem is that she's only ever had support-based therapy, and now she wants evidence-based therapy.
And 9 out of 10 people actually are just doing support therapy, which is like, how's your day? Let's talk about it. What's going on in your life? Let's talk about it. Then there's evidence-based, which I've never done. I've always done support. Hate it. Evidence-based is like, here's your diagnosis. Let's work on that. Let's figure out the depths.
It's insane for a psychologist that hasn't even gotten to know Amberlynn in any casual setting. They're not going to be willing to deep dive into a traumatic past and just rip up anything they can find. They do some recon work first. It's like using the stud finder to try to find a stable beam to hang your up so you're not ruining your house and making everything worse. Unless you're undergoing a court-ordered psych evaluation, most mental health professionals are fine taking a slower pace to comfortably unravel hard truths about yourself and others. Support and evidence work in tandem and require a long-term and consistent rapport with your mental health counselor of choice. Again, long-term work over immediate gratification isn't really her strong suit. Her quote-unquote evidence-based therapy is a term for incredibly popular and successful therapies called CBT and DBT. These have a clear result for people actually seeking and working on long-term mental health. There isn't this clear divide which one is useless small talk and the other magically heals you. Good therapy is both. You build support and you do the evidence-based structured work. It's doing the same work over and over and over again until you develop skills that stick with your routine. These are very critical when you have BED that has very clearly caused nothing but emotional and physical problems. My theory, entirely my own personal speculative theory, is Amberlynn dealt with therapy her whole life by just going 6 to 12 weeks, on and off, her whole life while in high school and foster care, and all of her diagnoses were either speculative or weren't followed up long term for anything concrete. I also think Amberlynn was probably open and honest about problems and issues they were having, and then after receiving probably some pity, sympathy, empathy, she would be giving solutions to her current problems. And that would require work or intentional effort, and she just wants the tiny violins instead. A competent therapist doesn't exclusively focus on ancillary details and stressors of existing, but they also can't skip straight to fixing you without understanding patterns, trust, and behavior. She never stayed long enough or engaged deeply enough to move past the early stages. Therapy takes time. Time to figure out how a person interacts with the world, time to figure out their personality, time to figure out their triggers and other forms of coping. It's to get the bigger picture while building a trusting rapport with each other. Because therapy only works if you actually want it to work. She doesn't have a therapy type problem. She has a food and dopamine cycle problem, but she doesn't want to do the work to fix it, and that's where she's always stuck.
You know, the medicine can only do so much. Therapy can only do so much. It's a lot of different things that play a role, and it's just something that I have come to the terms that I have to accept. But
no method, support, or evidence-based, whatever label she wants to use, is going to fix that for her. And just like her emotions and physical problems compound, so do the ways of healing. A healthy mindset and regulation takes a lot of practice and exposure to figure out what coping mechanisms are effective, which ones aren't, and which ones lead to overall regression. And so, speaking on her physical wellness, her psychologist recommended no diet plan. No need to calorie count or stick under a specific carb amount, just function in the world and avoid overeating as an emotional crutch or when they're bored.
I am doing what they're telling me to do. And something that the dietitian and psychologist told me to do is eat what I want. Listen to hunger cues. Very important.
This is a licensed and trained psychologist that specialized in mental wellness with an ED. They probably know what they're talking about, but Amberlynn will use their credible advice as an excuse to play dumb down the line. We've seen her try and fail with therapy before. We've seen her fail with a nutritionist before.
I want to talk to you guys more about the whole dietitian thing. I'm so happy I finally have one. So now people can stop saying that. No, that's not the only reason why. But it's just, I really needed someone to tell me what to do. I'm confused on why she blocked me, but honestly, the only thing I can think of, because we had great correspondence, like she was super helpful, and I was like any other client asking for help and doing the advice that she told me.
Sure, Jan.
But you know what? We're going to try again with a registered dietitian recommended by the psychologist and not a rando on Instagram for you to harass all day, Amber. Their expertise in nutrition and EDs would have been a great resource for creating better meals at home for their specific needs, like losing weight. Losing weight with an ED isn't an easy task, but with the scientific support paired with her quote-unquote evidence-based therapy, she should have had no problem following their instructions, since her own know-how attempts resulted in her being the weight of a small pony most of her life. There is a lot of overlap with nutritionists. All dietitians are nutritionists, but not all nutritionists are dietitians. A dietitian helps figure out what you need and give options based on those nutritional needs, be it for sports therapy, pediatric care, weight loss, weight gain, EDs, or for individuals with medical illnesses that require a specialized diet plan. Some registered dietitians may complete additional specialized training to be able to better counsel people with even more specific nutritional goals or health conditions. Oh hey, look at that! So the dietitian, being aware of Amberlynn's ED and having at least 1,000 hours of supervised practice, made a minor clinical addition to the psychologist's recommended plan. If you're craving a food, just eat it. Try and pay attention to hunger cues, and try eating some snacks throughout the day.
My dietitian, doesn't want to talk about weight loss, and my psychologist doesn't want to talk about weight loss, which I understand because this is but it's like, I actively need to lose weight or I'm gonna die. So I'm scared. The way that they want me to eat, I'm scared. They want me to listen to hunger cues and eat when I'm craving something. Don't hold back, pretty much. No calories, nothing. No moderation. It's when you're craving something, eat it. And when you're hungry, eat it. They literally want me to have snacks in the day, which I never do. And they don't care what type of snacks. They ask.
Speaking of mild routine changes to save your own life, our last specialist really brought out the peak levels of avoidant behavior for Amberlynn. Lymphedema is when the lymphatic system responsible for fluid balance fails to drain properly. Fluid accumulates, limbs enlarge, risk of infection increases tenfold, and it can compromise mobility. Lymphedema is caused when the lymphatic system is damaged, typically from cancer, radiation surgery, and parasitic infections. Long-term severe obesity is being argued as a possible contributing factor to lymphatic dysfunction. Years of excess mass increase pressure on vessels and promote inflammation. The longer someone remains in this obese state, the higher the risk of permanent damage. One of the many things unchecked morbid obesity can contribute to is early onset type 2 diabetes, arthritis, joint pain, sleep apnea, and cardiovascular issues. The body can endure a lot, but not forever, and not well.
At my size, I feel like I need to actively be losing weight, but I've been trying to ignore that side of me because it's I've always tried to lose weight. I fail at it every single time. You guys have seen that.
It's painful to watch.
Lymphedema is different from our other chronic illness of lipedema. It's when there is an abnormal and very painful buildup of fibrotic fat under the skin of the arms and legs of a person. The telltale sign is when the fat cuts off looking like a cuff near the unaffected hands and feet. This type of fat cannot be influenced by diet or exercise and often needs invasive treatments to remove the extra lipedema fat. Having obesity doesn't cause lipedema, but more than half of the people with this condition have a BMI higher than 35. It isn't uncommon for those with lymphedema to also have lipedema. Lipolymphedema is a chronic condition occurring when advanced lipedema causes lymphatic vessel damage, leading to combined fat accumulation and fluid swelling. Based on my non-medical degree, but my working eyeballs, I do believe she has both conditions.
How much to show your ankles?
Oh, God.
Bitch, I don't got ankles!
Unfortunately, there is no cure for either. They are chronic, but there are multiple forms of effective treatment. Lymphedema and lipedema have very similar symptoms that can be alleviated with exercising, eating lower sodium foods, staying hydrated, and wearing compression clothing. There's multiple forms of lymphatic drainage and decongestion massages available out there. The compression helps fluid move around better, reduce swelling, and ease some of the swelling pain. It's just basic, sexy, daily effort and care as most chronic illnesses demand. Her dual lipedema-lymphedema specialist reportedly suggested the keto diet plan. It's an incredibly low-carb, high-fat diet meant to intentionally induce ketoacidosis to help her lose weight. It's a more intensive and dramatic diet plan than others, where someone needs to consume less than 50 grams of net carbohydrates a day.
I have answers and I can move on with a plan, and it's something that I've wanted for so long, and I finally did it. So I'm relieved in a way. I feel like a whole weight is off of my shoulders because I have a plan, and I see a specialist who has so much knowledge over 30 years in this very subject.
The specialist also probably has eyeballs, and looking at the morbidly obese woman that recently had a hysterectomy, they must have thought time was of the essence. She needs to lose weight quick, and keto has been shown to be a speedier weight loss option for morbidly obese individuals.
I feel like I'm eating more sodium than usual. Maybe it's in my head. I don't know. I'm justifying pork rinds because if I ever feel the urge to I turn to pork rinds, but then I like overeat on them a little bit, and I don't know. I think I need to talk more to my psychologist about keto, low carb, lipedema versus like my recovery. And keto's so restrictive and it's only triggering me, so I'm trying to figure it out.
But oh no! You hear that? That's the third different professional who gave their professional focused advice that are now introducing conflicting diet plans. Mildly conflicting. What's a girl to do? Something really easy. Are any of these three giving any real new advice? Reduce takeout, avoid eating processed carbs and sodium, focus on whole foods, cook those whole foods at home, and move more. That's more or less every diet plan she's tried over the years. For most of us, we just moderate each of the specialist's advice to a reliable consistency. This isn't a cylinder in a square hole levels of complexity.
I have a lymphedema specialist telling me what diet to eat. I have my doctor telling me not to do that diet. And I have my psychologist from a clinic telling me not to diet at all because I need to heal and I need to stop relapsing with this. So I have 3 specialists, 1, 2, 3, who are all very freaking smart, intelligent, kind, patient. They truly care, and they all have their own, advice and what they think is right. And all of them say something different. I don't know what to do. Rarity, your butthole is in the camera. Love.
Cooking low-carb meals, exercising every day, but not calorie counting? Sure. Or focus on low-sodium foods, focus on hydration, and create better emotional habits to avoid reactively overeating while also going on walks and making healthy snacks. Totally fine. All diet options can find a way to work together. You try it, you see what you like, and what's the easiest to go with. Ease is the answer. If it's easy, you're more likely to do it. And if you're more likely to do it, it's going to work. It's a combo that has always inevitably worked for weight loss. It's all just a variation of the same game strategy. It's simple. Not easy, but it is simple. I honestly think she should have just focused on the psychologist's suggestion of not calorie counting, cooking more at home, and focusing on the ED. The other specialists probably wouldn't have argued, and change could have occurred. Small gradual changes are most effective for any strategy to build endurance.
I have so much to unpack in therapy. Oh my God, I have 31 years of just hell to unpack in therapy. And you guys, we have only reached the surface. So it's like, I'm not going to heal anytime soon. I don't know what I want from myself, let alone what you guys want from me.
Yeah, no, sure. She probably isn't going to lose 50 pounds in a month. If she did lose 50 pounds in a month, she would inevitably gain it all back in a couple months. But losing, 10 pounds a month and doing that for 5 months straight, that's 50 pounds off still, and you're more likely to keep going in a downward trajectory than oscillating and rebounding even more dramatically. She rebounded after she had her hysterectomy. So the slow and steady route will work, especially when you are this fucking huge. Then with this maintained weight loss, you'll feel more confident, then you'll challenge yourself a bit more, and as the days and weeks go on, you'll reach your goal. She's already been a quarter ton for years now. What's one more, but with actual healing occurring and a slow, permanent chipping away at the weight? But that pesky effort keeps being mandatory minimum if this is ever to be an action item and not just, a dream. Then this absolute imbecile has the gall to say, I need structure.
I need the therapy, which I'm getting with my psychologist, but now I need something structured that's going to help me with weight loss. And it's like, my stomach's growling, sorry. My dietitian doesn't want to talk about weight loss, and my psychologist doesn't want to talk about weight loss. Everything working against me when I'm trying so hard to do everything that I'm fucking being told. Why is everything working against me? I can blame myself for the last 30 years of my life, and I will blame myself for the last 30 years of my life. But I can't blame myself now because I am doing everything that the doctors are telling me to do, that the professionals are telling me to do, and I just feel so lost.
You stupid You're over 500 pounds, you failed everything you've tried yourself, just shut the up and listen to the experts, you idiot. You do need to lose weight. They want to help you save your life, but you've been in these dire straits with your learned helplessness. You're acting like taking the slow and steady route isn't fast enough to help. You know who also isn't fast enough to help? You. The only thing you've done quickly is just quickly end up in a bedbound state. Because you are a lazy, entitled, horrifically unwell moron that is at a point where listening to anyone else but your own idiotic inner monologue is the only way you're ever actually going to heal. Oh. Whew, sorry, phew, she really rustles my jimmies this year. It's just frustrating. If only there was some magical pill that she could take to make herself lose weight without having to put in any type of effort. If only that existed. But then we have the proper PED juiced superstar Ozempic, the GLP-1 magic pill she's always wanted, except injectable. Oh hey, look at that. You can just take it as a pill now. Neat. She was tasked with a weekly at-home injection that assisted with appetite suppression and food noise reduction. GLP-1s first came out to assist weight loss for insulin-resistant type 2 diabetes. Then it was being rolled out for people struggling with their weight, given the United States has been losing the obesity war. We could use as much help as possible. So after spending the first 6 months of the year between the high 480s and 500s, I'm suspecting Feline was getting tired of minimal effort being the only effort being exerted.
I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh my God, you're losing weight because of a medicine? How stupid. You can't even do it by yourself. No, I can't.
What the hell are you talking about?
And what happened? It worked. The Hail Mary worked. Not perfectly and not permanently, but it worked. She hasn't been in the 460s since 2017.
When I told my girlfriend my weigh-in today, I was like, oh my God, I'm 466.0. Like, I was so happy. I was like, this is the lowest I've been in Kentucky. She was like, you're 16 pounds away from 450. That's amazing.
After September, though, Amberlynn reported she stopped taking the only medication that actually helped her lose weight.
She was like, let's put you on Ozempic, and if you ever feel like you have any, gallbladder problems, you need to tell me, and you're going to have to get off of it. And I said, okay. And yeah, it's been so long since I've had, gallbladder pain, and here I am. I was having it, and I had to tell my doctor. As much as I wanted to continue Ozempic, it's just like, I know I need to just follow what the doctors are telling me to do at this point. And
Goodbyes.
That wasn't really a surprise when she made this announcement. It's a little enraging and definitely aggravating, but not surprising in the least. Allegedly, because she had pancreatitis.
she was like, have you ever had pancreas problems? And I said, unfortunately, yes.
For some reason. And gallstone issues. For some reason. Gallstones really are like the boogeyman to her. She gets to pull them out whenever if it wants her to stop her from doing something or encourage her to do something worse. They really are the perfect thing in the background for her to just always hide behind.
It was like 2 years after I found out I had gallstones, I got pancreatitis. She was like, okay, that's not good either.
So she had to just stop it entirely. Not review it further or find alternatives or find ways that any of her support staff could possibly help with. Nah, just pitch it. Just pitch it all away. That's fine. That's fine. All that work, it's fine. So that mid-July to early Q4, she kind of just wasted that whole momentum. When she's completely off Ozempic, she went back to 100 days of weighing in.
We're doing 100 days of weighing in. Yes, we are. And today is November 3rd.
With nothing to show for it. She started and stopped keto.
Talked more to my psychologist about keto, low carb, lipedema versus like my recovery eating. Keto's so restrictive and it's only triggering me. So I'm trying to figure it out. I ended up calling my doctor. They said that I shouldn't do keto.
Tried the apps again, Noom and Weight Watchers, for 72 hours each. She slowly stopped mentioning the therapist. She slowly stopped mentioning outpatient therapy.
So I have officially taken a pause on outpatient. I noticed that
Oh, what's that smell?
they did not want me to talk about weight loss. That was not
It's bullshit.
the program that I was doing. They're very much health at every size, which I
What's that smell? Some bullshit? I'm gonna put it out.
September being the most startling increase in weight since she gained 24 pounds from her lowest weight at the 460s to the 490s, and ended the year in the 520s, gaining 55 pounds from September to mid-December. The medical professionals didn't fail to do their jobs. The coach showed up every day with a plan. The actual player just refused to play.
What's that smell? Is that some bullshit?
One very important fact about this year that I really want to emphasize is that nothing happened in 2022. Like, literally nothing. Nothing occurred. Amberlynn had all these resources, time, support to just focus on their health and just chose not to. That's why myself and other audience members assume she's just on her phone all day scrolling through YouTube, doing scratch art and playing with children's toys, because that's kind of all we see outside of eating. The ankle sprain, going out to pho, the hospital visits, Target, and the homeless shelter. That's it. That's all she did. She might have talked about a book here and there, but nothing in depth. It's just so boring. Even the ankle sprain was especially dull, since she really didn't gain much weight back. She just cried a lot. The way she was phrasing what occurred to her, I thought she tried to prematurely end everything herself, but it was just an ankle sprain. A very boring and regular thing to occur to most people. And again, she didn't even gain weight. I mean, I think that's Valine and Ozempic's influence, but this also wasn't wake-up call number 3,502 to maybe try to lose more weight, because nothing helps you if you are this size with a sprain. So she just kind of bedbound herself.
And as someone who's, in the 400s, it's terrifying. Because it's like anything that I could have used to help myself, like crutches. They suggested that I use this like scooter thing where you put your knee up so you don't have to walk on the foot that you f***ed up.
But then was super defensive about it.
People tear their ligaments all the time. This isn't because I'm fat, this isn't or anything like that. I simply am a person who wasn't paying attention while walking.
Sure, Jan.
Now, amidst all this crying and not really doing everything, I'm thinking of Feline's point of view through all this, who is a young professional who, in my last video, I kind of went over. They're at least 25 years old, went to college, have a career, can work from home. I'm just thinking of the whiplash of having like a normal Teams meeting with your peers and management and then leaving your desk and then your morbidly obese partner pouting and arguing why you should get takeout again and is upset people on the internet think she's lazy. And you've witnessed them do nothing all day.
I have to make the content. I have to go through the hate. I have to go through the shit. And then I'm called boring even though I'm the one making the content.
That's all that was happening. Her just gaining weight, thinking she's trying to do something but really doesn't. And the scale keeps showcasing that she really isn't doing anything to help her lymphedema, her mental health, her ED, her lymphedema, her kidneys, her pancreas, just anything. She's not helping anything. She's just eating takeout and excusing that behavior.
So I'm trying to figure it out, you guys, okay? So for my next meal, we have a famous bowl from KFC. So it has...
It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay? No more! Where the f*** are your parents?
Look, I love sports, I love competition, I love watching an athlete or a team just dig in and perform. Humans, we love an underdog. We love seeing someone with nothing give everything they have to win. It's motivational, it's inspiring, and yeah, you know what? Look, I know athletes aren't the paradigm of virtue, alright? I know that, I know. This isn't about that. Shut up. What I am focusing on is the effort and belief followed by execution of the work, bringing people to watch and cheer for them to succeed in the sport. When a team repeatedly kneecaps itself by just not practicing, trying, just getting in trouble, fans stop buying tickets. If the team doesn't care if they win or lose, why should the audience? This is something we all suspected and was showcased in 2022, which is Amberlynn didn't want to win. She didn't even want to play. She just wanted the trophy. She's gone her entire life bouncing between whatever life throws at her. Not a single action in her adult life was made with any thought or intention. As a kid in foster care, you have minimal control over anything. You're moved around where the state sends you. You're stuck doing what they tell you to do, and that's kind of it. I'd be more understanding of how a chaotic life makes someone stay in survival mode, trying to find stability, but that's what those darn psychologists and therapists were supposed to be helping with. Instead of weaponizing incompetence and learned helplessness, they were rewarded every time with this behavior. And every time they did this, they found a new romantic partner, they found a new place to live, somewhere to, not work all day. It really makes taking the initiative for change almost impossible since she never really had to.
Things I still need to work on. I still need to change. I can't change overnight, so we're doing the best that I can now. So we ended up ordering Chinese, and I got this Szechuan beef.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Because if she changes, she'll have to be independent. She'll have to make good choices every single day. She'd have to be active every single day. She'd have to stop, think, and cook meals that fit her diet plan. She'd have to learn to give herself medication if Feline isn't around. She'd be expected to expose herself to the anxiety of driving a car repeatedly to be less afraid of driving. She'd have to drive herself to the grocery store and purchase food. She'd have to keep up this routine every day with no reward besides trusting the process. But she doesn't want to do that. She wants to live her life the exact same way it is, but just not at 500 pounds. Being morbidly obese has been her sword and shield and the reason why she can't change, and why she won't ever change. If she lost weight, she'd have to do things. Things take time and effort, and Amberlynn will refuse medical assistance at the first availability, and order takeout again as a form of sabotage if it means she doesn't have to do the thing. I think this is a mix of things she does subconsciously and consciously. She must know this deep down inside, and this probably does make her upset, hence the cycle of self-sabotage. Now, back to our Scottie Pippen. What does all this say about our MVP Feline, who knew about Amberlynn's history and pattern of failure, being an admitted former viewer, who probably cooked at home when they were done working, walking Twinkie, walking Amberlynn, setting up cute backgrounds for filming, grabbing the mail for their P.O. box, and then seeing takeout boxes in the trash the next morning after Amberlynn ordered additional food when Feline went to bed. That extra help Feline was giving going underappreciated and just literally being thrown away. At the end of the year, seeing her gain so much weight so quickly, this is where the doubt must have set in for them. Maybe everybody was right. Maybe they were always a loser. Maybe you yourself were too optimistic to see that. Maybe they aren't willing to do what's needed to succeed. Maybe they never had a desire to win. And maybe every attempt at trying they showed you was just enough to get by until they didn't need to anymore. I love sports. I love boxing, I love MMA, I love endurance ventures like triathlons and distance races. So I can say it's fascinating to watch a team flounder every year in new and embarrassing ways, as much as it is to watch others dominate. What's one team doing the other isn't? What is the management style showing results while this one isn't? Is there zero synergy in the team, or is the fight just not in the dog? Speaking of fights and fighters, for those unfamiliar with the film Rocky Balboa doesn't actually dream of being the heavyweight champion of the world. He's a low-level enforcer for mafia loan sharks and fights in small gyms. The gym coach thinks he's wasted talent, and he's perfectly fine with his existence. But like any good protagonist, he has greatness thrust upon him. The actual heavyweight champion of the world, Apollo Creed, is hosting a title match, but his scheduled opponent cannot compete. In fact, none of the options available can do so at such short notice. So Creed's promoter picks Rocky just because he happens to watch him win a smaller fight. Just out of chance. Rocky doesn't want to be a heavyweight champion, but he sees this possible life-changing opportunity. So he chooses to be uncomfortable and train hard every day. He lets himself be open to the idea he isn't just a loser. He's not special. He's not a particularly gifted fighter. He just wants to try with the help he has with this opportunity. Rocky doesn't even think he can win. He just wants to survive 15 rounds of boxing against the current champion, who has all the resources in the world. We love watching an underdog. We go feral for a training montage. And we want him to win, even if he doesn't think he can. Spoiler, until this part, I mean, the movie's been out for 50 years, but whatever. Rocky doesn't win. He doesn't KO champion Apollo Creed and win the belt. But with his hard work, dedication, focus, and endurance, he's able to stay upright in the ring all 15 rounds. Apollo Creed wins by split decision, but it doesn't really bother Rocky. He wasn't even supposed to be there. He wasn't supposed to perform at all. He was supposed to be crushed for entertainment early on. Rocky was able to meet the challenge of a champion and perform beyond everyone's expectations, even his own. He pushed through his own discomfort and mediocrity to meet the champion and stay upright. And you know what? It even gets the girl at the end. I know it's a stretch to compare Amberlynn Reed to Rocky Balboa. No one expects Amberlynn to clock in at 130 pounds, running marathons and no longer having an ED. But, you know, maybe under 300 pounds and not needing another person to get anything else done throughout the day isn't a tall order for the audience who, you know, still kind of wants her to succeed, or at least just not flounder. Even if she isn't tired of half-assing everything or seeing how dysfunctional this year's bungle was, Feline was watching, and Feline was noticing. You can't be someone's number one fan if they refuse to even compete. Every diehard fan has a breaking point. You can't put all your support into someone 24/7 and be alright with them not putting any of it into themselves. I think we all know what's coming up next year.
Babe! Baby.
Thank you for sticking around to the end and enduring my excessive sports talk. Let me know what you thought about Feline in 2022. Thank you very much for your patience. These videos are a labor of love, so I appreciate you watching and I appreciate you waiting. They are not the quickest thing in the world for me to make, but I like whole-assing things and I don't like half-assing other things, and I'd rather put my whole foot and ass in this soup. Subscribe for the next round of Amberlynn Reid letting life happen to her rather than participating in it, and I will see you all next year in 2023.
Come on, you talk like everybody owes you a living.
Shut your mouth.
Look, nobody owes nobody nothing. You owe yourself.
You're wrong. Friends owe.
Friends don't owe. They do because they want to do.
Shut your freaking mouth. You've been keeping me down.
Down. So I'm going to tell you something. This is coming straight from the heart, Paula. And I mean this. You ain't down. You're just a jealous, lazy bum.